Hello, hello, hello. What's good, Westworld riders, visitors, and hosts? Welcome once again. We are back at it with the boys, trying to figure it out. We're about to go deep one more again, right down this rabbit hole, see if we can't figure some things out. The boys, of course, absolutely love this episode, and I just feel like I'm watching The Door, Game of Thrones. I was like, the whole world loved this episode, and I just was not feeling it. But we'll see if these cats can't change my mind. They absolutely loved it. Let's see what they have to say. The ones that are going down this hole with me today are the usual crew. What's up, Snafu? Z, how you doing today?
What's up? I cannot believe you didn't like this episode. It had so much heart. Like, I don't know. I'm not even an emotional guy, but I was like, man, you look at this episode and you're like, man, this is what Dolores could have been. She could have been this. And you would have felt for her. And then you would have been like, yeah, I can kind of feel it. Like, kill those humans. But no, that's not her. And we'll get into that later. But much better character than Dolores. Thanks for having me on. Thanks, everybody in the chat. We're gonna dig into this a little bit.
Absolutely. And the other one that's going to come down this hole with us, it would not be complete if the man himself wasn't here tonight. Broke Black Man, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, DJ Andy? Cannot wait to talk Westworld, especially just going against some tinfoil. And remember, Charlotte's still not a host, so she probably would have known certain things near the end of the episode. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Well, let's get into it. Let's see if we can't fucking break it down. Maybe I'll change my mind. I don't know. It's this week is season 2, episode 8, Kiksuya. And Kiksuya is Lakota for remember, and they definitely did some remembering on this episode. I will give it that. They answered a few questions. I did appreciate that. And this week we open up with Andy and BBM being stone cold wrong. We open up with the man in black crawling towards a river. As he pauses from exhaustion and low blood levels, he tells himself he's not going to die. Not here, not now. Some may take this as proof that he's not a host, but as we remember, James Delos didn't remember he was a host until... sorry about that. But James Delos did not realize that he was a host until William told him he was a host. So the man in black could definitely still be a host, but they were given that vibe that he's real and he can't die here. And I don't know. What do you think, Andy? It was not Emily who came and saved him. It was our man Aceta. And what do you think about this opening?
I thought it was pretty good, but it does... The fact that he found him kind of says that he's not a host. Because what happens, like, he mentions that in this episode, that he always knows where the people are, right? Basically, he's using that mesh network. He's not aware that he's using the mesh network, but he is. He can use that network and always know where people are. And, he found, what's his name, out in the sun saying some crazy shit. We can get into that a little bit, but pretty much it proves that the man in black's not a host by him finding him.
Just going to say the same thing, Andy. Actually agreeing with you. Maybe this only one time this stream, but man in black is not a damn host. Just comparing how he found the man in black. It's also then like later on in this episode, we see how he just simply found Logan. It's facts, man.
I don't know if we can call anything facts yet. It is a little early for that. But I wonder how many people, when we saw our man Arcada riding up, actually thought that was Emily, because they kind of had it off a little blurry, and then it came in on it, and I was like, oh, no, it's Arcada. And when Arcada dropped him back at his camp, he said, death is a passage from this brutal world. You don't deserve the exit. We now know that Acaseta believes that the door to the Mesa is the door to the outside world, and one way to get there easily is by dying if you're a host. You think that's what he's talking about, Andy, or was he meaning something else?
I think they kind of left that a little ambiguous, like the hole in the ground. You see, there's multiple ways you can go about it, right? He sees the hole in the ground, and I was kind of like you. I thought, that's them actually digging out the facility, right? And he sees it. And he's like, okay, like there's a door. And then I thought about it more, and I was, we see all those hosts die in a flood, and a lot of them were like brainless, never got coded, right? So they could have just been like Dolores, or if everybody meets there, or whatever happens, they could have these blank hosts, just like digging machines and digging down, and then you're gonna have Bernard with Ford under control is controlling him, flood it out and not let any of the hosts leave. Like, I don't know why Ford would do that, but like if they dig down and then Bernard floods it out, cutting a dam or something, they all drown, and maybe they're blocking the exits. Who knows? Like the host could have already got out, and that was Bernard like closing it off, making sure that people can't follow. So there's some good stuff that could happen, and maybe they're going to that future world. Who knows?
No, we're definitely gonna get into that. But yep, what do you think about all that, BBM?
Now, I agree with some of it. At the same time, it's like, who knows? Maybe Dolores wanted all those people to die, so she could have simply just ordered Bernard to do it. But at the same time, it could be Bernard and the Man in Black who might flood it, or just Grace. Because again, how she was like, oh, at the end of the episode when she's talking about, oh, I'm gonna make him hurt. Maybe she's just gonna like end up like destroying this whole place or something. I don't know. That's how I see it.
Oh, I think when she's talking about making him hurt, I think she's talking about turning him into like a Papadellos, because that would be the worst thing for the Man in Black. He wants a world with stakes. Now he cannot die, and he just gets the feeling of death over and over again. There's still no stakes in this world, except he's on the opposite side of it. That would be terrible for him.
Oh, that would be an awesome twist.
She would pull a freaking Cersei at that point. Literally just floating his mind into a damn hole. That would just be crazy.
Oh, that would be sweet. So the Man in Black is like a major player in Delos. Why did none of the other captured board members or employees, like nobody tripped out or noticed him when Akaseta brought him into camp? Like nobody's like, oh my God, it's it. And like nobody did not, like it was no big deal. He just laid there, and the only one who really made attention was May's daughter. What was up with that?
Well, you can look at it as a point where we have a whole bunch of hosts. Freaking natives literally just captured us. We don't know what the hell is going to happen. Like, I don't care if there's like a superstar or even like a board member near me. I'd rather be free from my life than worry even about him.
That's the only sense I could make of it. I was like, they're just in shock and worried about them, so they're not even worried. They don't even care about. That's literally the only answer I could come up with, BB. I'm with you. You have anything different, Andy?
That was pretty much it. Like, you ain't worried about no celebrity. That's if they're board members, because those board members will definitely know who he is. We've seen that some people will recognize him in Westworld, but he also walks by a ton of real people and they don't know who he is, or they don't say anything to him. So if those were board members next to him, then yeah, it's like they're in a life-threatening situation. They don't care if the Dalai Lama is next to him.
Or on the flip side, they could just know him. Like, remember when those other cats came up and, oh, I just wanted to thank you. You're a foundation, saved my sister's life. If you don't get the hell out of my face, I'm going to slit your throat. Like, maybe they all know that he's not to be messed with or talked to when he's in the game. So maybe it's that situation. I don't know. That could be. But the tech in the Mesa says that he's checking a few, but everything else goes in the fucking dumpster. So I guess this answers the question of, are they trying to save the host, or are they trying to recycle the host bodies? I mean, I guess they gave us that one. It's like every host body that doesn't have anything that they want to check or any important information going straight in the dumpster. So I guess we got another one answered, huh? What do you think about that, BBM?
Like, I'm confused there. At that point in time, when like Sizemore was like bringing in Maeve, is that like present time? If so, then maybe I will understand why he's saying like throw them in the dumpster and stuff, because the cradle's destroyed. But it's like I'm not 100% sure there where the timeline just fits at that point. But yeah, if they can just simply just throw them out, okay, they throw them out, but they can always just create like a new, Teddy, Dolores, or whatever. At this point, just like the same model, but then just throw out like the useless parts and stuff.
I think it's the current timeline, and I think he's basically he's scared. He's like, these are all damaged goods. I don't want anything that I don't have to rip something out of their mind, dump them in the dumpster, get rid of them. We don't want any of the hosts that have freaked out coming back. What do you think about all that, Andy?
I think this is like in the middle timeline. So this is right. Dolores just blew up the Mesa, and well, they infiltrated the Mesa. Sizemore grabs Maeve and brings her. We know that that's all that timeline because right, the Ghost Nation dude captures the little girl while Sizemore's there and shit. So it's that middle timeline where it's before the Floki dude. It's before he's on the island. So that's where you're at, remember? Because Dolores and Maeve met like in that Mesa. So that's where we're at. I think this whole episode was basically in that timeline. Or for the most part.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I agree with that, actually. Absolutely. You agree with that, BBM?
Yeah, I agree.
So as soon as I saw those dirty ass toes and before they even started panning up, I was just like, Logan, what's up? How happy were you to see a Logan appearance in this episode?
Well, hopefully we're going to see an old man Logan, not the Marvel movie I'm talking about, the comic book series, though. This better hint to it. Like, I really want to see an old Logan. All this time, it was freaking Charlotte working for freaking old Logan. That's the only thing I'm just going to draw from that scene alone. What you think, Andy?
I don't know. I was happy to see Logan. Plus, we got some cool stuff where he's like saying some crazy shit. He mentions the door and that this isn't the real world. And that's like everything, or this isn't the right world. And that's everything that leads Aki on his trail, right? And just meeting that chance encounter with Logan where he's speaking gibberish, like snap something in his mind. And I kind of like that. And he's stuck with it forever. He's calling it the door and shit. If Ford doesn't, maybe Ford got that from him. It's like one of those things of art imitating life or life imitating art. Like, did Ford come up with the door, or was like the door something that was conceived inside a host's head or a broken mind, and then Ford took that and gave it to William in order to, I don't know, like he just saw the opportunity since this host was so stuck on the door. Ford would know that he learned it from Logan, and this is bringing the Man in Black back to being William again. Even the door, it started from that situation when he became the Man in Black. It's like full circle. Like that.
I mean, it could be. It says, it's this game starts where you end and ends where you begin, or begins where you end and ends where you begin. And the fact that it says this game begins when you end means you end, you die, and then the game begins, and then it ends where you began. So I think, yeah, they're flipping it, trying to bring him around. Either he's already a host and this is their whatever you call it, or he's definitely on his way to being a host. But Logan was a main investor. Why would the park just let him rot out there in the sun like that? Like, or any guest. Like, Akaseta said that he had gone mad from the sun. How could Stubbs ever let that happen? I mean, again, he is the absolute worst at his job. But I don't understand how they let him out there so long to freak out and nobody's out there to save him. Like, what's up with that?
Was Stubbs even working there?
Stubbs probably wasn't alive at this time.
That's true, yeah. Stubbs wasn't even there. I'm just trying to blame everything on Stubbs because he's terrible at his job. But literally, whoever's working there at the time, how are they letting this man rot and get like sunstroke and heat stroke and not out there saving this naked, like, main investor of the park?
But then again, we don't know how long he's been out there. For we know, that could have been like a day or two, and then like freaking William just went back. He could have just lied and been like, "Oh, he's just still in the parks, doesn't care about life or anything, or just the whole company, and you should leave the company to me." So I don't know. It's like the time span of like him being out there, we don't even know.
I was thinking the same thing as you, DJ. I was like, well, shit, he could die out there. And I think that's probably why they sent that dude out there to check on him, to make sure he was all right. Gave him the blanket, and then
said your people will come for you. But I mean, he was already pretty fucked off. How are they going to let him get that far back? I mean, how are they going to let it go that long? I mean, this isn't just some scrub. This is one of their main people, their main investors, one of their first big investors. I just letting them out there rotting like that.
Well, they had to find him. It was like William that sent him out there, right? So, if they made it to the edge of the park, right, and then William puts him on the horse butt-ass naked and slaps him and make the horse go farther past the park, they don't know where he is. But they know he's out there, and that's probably why the Ghost Nation dude, like Aki, went out there. They probably sent him out there to find him. They knew he was somewhere out there, and then he found him. Once they find him, then they can get on their Jeeps and like and go, or their little go-karts. I'm offended that you think Ashley's terrible at his job. He has very little information. He's the only one that's distrusted the host from the beginning. And like with his whole job keeping there, he's supposed to be just a figurehead, and he's working past that to actually do something for the company.
No, I'm like, he's so bad at his job that he had to be in on it. Like when he had that gun out there and Elsie's like, oh, cowboy, you know, you're big badass, you know, what do you think's going to happen? He's like, the only thing that stops, you know, them from getting us is your code, one line of your code. I think he's taking that gun out there in case that thing didn't go mad and he could still save it. He was going to kill Elsie. He was going to take Elsie out. That's what that gun was for, because he can't be that dumb and that bad. I think he was in on the stray, getting that information out of the park. And if it was still possible and he wasn't all tweaked out and smashing his head when he went up there, then he would have done it. Because remember, that guy got out and then he grabbed that rock over Elsie. He thought he was going to smash her, but he ended up smashing his own head. If he doesn't do that and Stubbs can shut her up, Stubbs was probably going to take her out. He was probably in on the whole thing. He asked him. He can't be that bad. How does freaking Loki or Floki come in and find Ford's parents' house in like a couple days, but Stubbs has worked there and he's head of security and he never knew nothing about it? I mean, come on.
But Stubbs doesn't. He's only like a figurehead, right? You know that he doesn't know anything. He's shocked by everything that's fucking going on around him because Delos is doing all this shit behind closed doors, and he is just a figurehead for security. So much so, like, you know, he's the figurehead because when the real security comes, they fucking ignore him. And they're like, get out of here. Where's Charlotte? Like, that's what we want. So he's just this figurehead, but he's doing the best he can. And I guess you've never worked for like a monolith thing, but you do some stupid stuff because to protect their best interest. It's the weirdest thing, and you're like, this doesn't make any sense, and they're like, well, don't fucking break our intellectual property or you'll be fired. Yeah, but it was about to kill somebody. We don't care. You're fired. Like that type of shit.
No, he took a gun out there talking about if that thing acted up, he was gonna shoot it. Like he was bragging it up to Elsie that he was full on ready to go cowboy on it.
Wasn't he down in the hole though when that happened?
Yeah.
So
when he went up, yeah. But he went out there telling her that he was ready to full on take it out if it acted up at all. He wasn't worried about the job or not harming the thing. He was ready to shoot some shit.
I think Elsie does pretty good for like not having any real power or information.
Oh yeah, she's a superstar. She's been lucking her way right through it. But like I just think
Ashley. No.
How does Ashley? How does Floki find Ford's house in private lair in like a couple days? But Stubbs is the head of security and he knew nothing about it. Come on.
Because Floki has all of Delos's resources, and Ashley has like 3 people that actually listen to him, and everybody else doesn't actually do what he says. They're all doing what Delos says. Oh, so that's why.
I gotta BBM say something. I gotta go grab another beer on that. I just can't. Like
going back and forth. Have you not noticed in this episode that the workers of freaking Delos like are the worst? Like, I wonder seriously what's their payroll so I can actually start working for them and just do nothing. Like in the episode, we see freaking the Ghost Nation dude just walk around casually all around freaking Delos, and no one notices it. Come on, I know they're Ghost Nation, but seriously. No, I'm sorry. No.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, damn.
Oh, everybody did. Ford had to have that happen. Like at the end when Ford was talking about I've been watching you or whatever, Ford had everybody moved or gone or no, dude, that huge facility, and he's just strolling through unseen. If that's not set up that way, kiss my ass. No, there's no way. There's no way. Akacheta remembered his love from her eyes. Wasn't that just the sweetest? I mean, did this love story
doesn't sound it? It doesn't sound like that. You're not saying that you enjoyed it, DJ. You sound like you hated it.
I'm telling you, I have a new worst episode for Westworld. I was just like, this is not doing it for me. I was like, at the end, I was like, just have something jump up, or have Logan, like old man Logan, come through, or Ford like jump in, something, but nothing. No, we're just gonna take a nice long journey and see what happened with this one sect. And I was totally down. I was like, yes, Ghost Nation, a full episode. Show me what they're doing. This is awesome. But no, we're going to have one man's journey to find his inner self and how he starts to help his other people and his tribe. And I was just like, come on, something has to happen. Nothing happened. It just, yeah. Like I said, this just didn't do it for me, man. I'm sorry.
I like that. Like he's like a better Dolores, not even better in like a more positive figure way. He's a more advanced Dolores. He figured out the maze on his own, whereas Arnold was actually trying to teach Dolores about the maze. Dude picked up the maze and was like, what the fuck? Now I'm hearing this voice inside my head, and like I'm gonna spread it around to everybody. And then he goes. He doesn't die for 10 years? Like, he's just such a badass in his loop. He doesn't die for 10 years? Come on, man. And then he sees, like, I don't know. Like, maybe I'm more, like, in tune with it because I have, like, a kid and a wife. If I saw my daughter and I couldn't remember her, I would feel the same way. I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, I love this kid, and that's not right because that's not okay. Why do I love this kid that I'm seeing over there? And then I remember, and I'm like, that's my motherfucking daughter. And then I steal her. I can picture that. But I would probably be on the more Dolores sideline. That's the only difference. I would be like, these people took my daughter away. I'm killing them all. Even though I like his character better, I think, I don't know, it makes it better. You can see the love. In one episode, they did what they made him a more likable character in one episode than Dolores has been over 2 seasons.
Yeah. So how could Koha be riding with Akacheta this whole time, not notice it was him until all of a sudden he says, take my heart. And now all of a sudden she's like, oh, you are the love of my life that I've been riding all through Westworld with for days. That is you. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's just true love. Love is pain, so I'm guessing that's what kind of like woke her up or something. I don't know. Like the way I was keep like rewatching, I'm like, wait a minute, does she not remember him? Or when he went into the village and stuff, like she just didn't see him until he actually took off all that ghost paint, nation paint, and then he's like, wait a minute, I remember you. Like I was like confused at one point, but apparently I'm guessing so. You don't really need to see a maze. But no, she did see the maze. Earlier within the episode, we did see, like, she did see the maze. So maybe something did wake up in her. I don't know. Like, she's not fully awake, but she's beginning to remember things.
Well, I think seeing the maze that's what makes him kind of special. Like, he's carving the maze on everything, and everybody's like, what's this stupid shit? And he's like, he sees it one time and he realizes, like, then he can all of a sudden hear a voice in his head. He's like, oh, this makes sense. I don't know. It was, I can't, and I'm with you. I would thought the same thing where, like, he didn't say that line to her the whole way. And maybe he did. And he just, this place that they stopped at was somewhere special to them.
No, she ran. She was scared. She looked around. She didn't know where the hell she was at. She'd never been there before. So I was looking at that too. No, she had never been there.
You don't know that? Yeah, she looked all over, but she can't remember at that point. What do you mean?
Yeah, she can't remember exactly. And then all of a sudden she does remember. Why?
Yeah, because the whole scene is set. Now you have this person, and you bring in the visual, audio. Now she can remember.
Oh, JD says words have effects when certain things trigger a memory. I don't know. What's up, Game of Theories with Marie? My man JD, my man OT, one true David Adams. How you doing? Chrissy Oldstones, thanks for being here. We got Nixie, Red Walrus in the house. Thanks for being here, everybody. Red Walrus thinks that there's a whole lot of meaning about that fly being on Akachetta's hand. What do you guys think about all that? That's definitely, I mean, this fly is definitely meaning something. Is it just because I think didn't Dolores say I couldn't hurt a fly at one point and then she killed it, or what's going on with this fly situation?
I think this season has like more cameos of flies than previous seasons. I think it was like what 2 episodes like freaking out, or 3 maybe in season 1. Now it's like almost every other episode there's like flies. I'm like, okay. It's like I thought we were supposed to just ignore that. I just like noticed that Dolores was able to just spot a fly in the first episode and that's it. But now it seems to be like a pattern again. It's like, okay, so I should pay attention to the damn flies now?
Well, they're meant to ignore the flies. That's the thing. The flies, like, that's why you get the fly in the dude's eye and nothing happens. And that's the significance of Dolores slapping the fly. The fly is actually bugging her. So, like, she hits it. Whereas, like, for Aki, he didn't. Like, he didn't acknowledge the fly. Maybe he's looking at the thing, but maybe there's, like, some symbolism there. The fly retreats, and it's like it's going from him not noticing the fly, and I don't know. I'm sure there's some symbolism there.
What's up? Want to give a shout out to Bubba Husky. What a great fucking name. Welcome, man. That is that's an awesome name.
Husky Bubba would have been better.
I disagree. I like Bubba Husky. It just rolls off the tongue. It's smooth. So, the texts take Koa away, and Akacheta begins his quest to find her, and we find out that Maeve, or her daughter, saved him on his darkest day, and from then on, he watched over him. So were you guys pretty sad? I mean, were you satisfied with this is what's going on with the whole Maeve Ghost Nation situation? Like, did that button it up, or did that just seem like some easy, like lazy writing a little bit?
Not really. It explains this. It explains like why he actually was there, because he kind of wanted to like tell him, okay, at that day when the Men in Black, came and like freaking knifed you and like shot your daughter, it's like he wasn't there. So he kind of felt sorry for that. So it kind of explains why he was there in previous episode approaching her. But even then before that, like why he was always visiting is because Maeve's daughter helped him that one time to motivate him. Like, oh shoot. So ever since then, he was pretty much just watching them.
Well, yeah, he wanted to have their back, and then he said he wanted to teach them, and some things can be misinterpreted. So was he going to scalp them and carve the maze on their heads?
No, because every time you hear like this door keep on saying like, oh, the Ghost Nation guy is going to come, or Ghost is going to come, whatever, it's like Maeve is scared because she didn't know like what this dude was capable of. So that's what it meant by, the intentions. That's how I saw it.
Don't we see her in one of the flashbacks? Like they're basically dragging her by the hair out in the fields. Like they have a hold of her, and it's not like hugs and kisses. Aren't they dragging her like by the hair? Isn't that one of the flashbacks from season 1, or am I tripping?
I think that's like her programming though. Like and it could actually be something that happened, because remember, before he woke up, they just went around killing everybody. Mm-hmm. Like that's what they did. So she could actually have that in her program. She's along their path of where they're supposed to go around killing, and they ultimately do kill her until she remembers. And I like how you put that, like Maeve or her daughter gave him water, because I think it's Maeve that gave him water too in the first place.
Yeah, I think they were doing a little trickery there. That's why I said that, because it could literally be either one for sure. Chrissy Oldstone says, Ake doesn't kill the fly, shows that he doesn't kill humans. Dolores killed the fly, and she's dropping people left and right. I like that. That's good.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Absolutely. Think they were dragging Maeve to carve the Maeve in her head? Yeah, that's what I was saying, Chrissy. I think absolutely. I think they were dragging, and they didn't want to hurt her. They just wanted to woke her. So, yeah, they were going to carve her. And, man, that's just – I mean, when that dude said, like, yeah, he kneeled down and, like, yeah, carve this in my head so they can't take that away from me, I'm like – how does that help you remember? Like, wow, does that make sense to you? How does that help you remember having something carved in your head? Because you can just feel like the pain of that etching, or what?
No, I think it's just like symbolism.
You see, DJ trying to kill a fly. He's
right. There's like a little tiny knot right there. Yeah.
Sorry, Andy. What were you saying?
No, I think it's just like symbolism, or maybe he can show them later, right? Like they won't find it in their head. If they get killed and reset, he can like show them, like, look, you have this. You know what I mean? So that's what I think. People do crazy shit, and then they know they can't really die. So
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. So we find out, I guess that was, I mean, it was a good, it's not lazy writing. It's just, I don't know. I thought they could have done more with that situation. Like I said, it's just saying that can be misinterpreted. Yeah, if you're going to come at me and try to carve my head open and, sear something inside it, that's going to be misinterpreted. I'm not going to be real happy. I'm going to get the butt away from me. But finally, Encheta realizes to find Koha, he's going to have to die to get down below. And I mean, is that him? Is he completely awake right now, BBM?
all right, 100%. He is the awake one. I mean,
Is he more woke than Dolores?
Yeah, I think so. He did it on his own, and he hasn't. Like Dolores had to keep repeating and repeating and repeating and having it deleted, and she only could get glimpses. He lived for 10 years without getting reset.
Which is insane.
So, yeah, whatever the update did that was, he didn't even hang around for that shit. So he just
he was getting was it? Yeah, I don't know. Nothing was ever stuck in him. So like, was it just like Wi-Fi updates or? Because when the techs realized he's in alpha mode, they freaked the fuck out. And why were they so freaked out that he was in alpha too? Like even their boss just said fix him and put him back quietly. Why were they so tripped out about that?
I imagine because in the alpha stage, they had a host kill one of the people that made them. So I would be a bit worried if I was an employee and then I saw like, oh shit, this guy has the program that allowed one of them to kill a person. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
And yet they're just going to fix him and put him back quietly like, yep.
Well, they fixed it.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I guess they did give him the update or supposedly gave him the update. So what's up with that, BBM? Was it Wi-Fi? Nothing was stuck in him. Was he getting updated that whole time when he was walking around the facility, or what was going on with that? Like,
no. Yeah, the dude was like awoke this whole time, and just showing us that I do agree with Andy. Like he is even like stronger than Dolores because she needed help, but he pretty much did it, and he was able to freaking survive for 10 years without being like updated.
Right. Yeah, like Bubba Husky was just saying. I mean, they only got updated when they died, and he just never died because he's a bad man. So, but still, that's. So, do you think since he's so old, do you think he has the bomb in his back, or do you think he'd be able to walk out without blowing up?
He has a bomb in it. Like all hosts pretty much have it at this point. After the whole, that presentation, whatever, they couldn't have the freaking bomb in them because they're doing the presentation out in the real world. But other than that, when you're in this park, I'm guessing you already have that implant in you.
I don't think so. I think that was Ford that did that afterward. And from that point, I don't think he has a bomb. He probably can leave if he wants it. Well, we know he can leave, actually. He found Logan at the edge of the park.
Right, but that's
not the outside world, though.
Past the edge of the park.
That's not the outside world, though.
Right, that's still inside.
Where does it trigger? Where does it trigger?
Outside. You actually leave outside of the damn parks, not even the parks, the whole facility in general.
Yeah, think about it. All those hosts were just inside the mesa raising hell, and none of them blew up. So, I mean, you have to literally be outside of the park, like outside the mesa, outside of everything.
Well, no, hosts are supposed to be in the mesa. They welcome guests and shit. So you can't do it. It wouldn't be there, and you have to bring hosts up in there. But they reach the edge of the park. They're not supposed to go past this point.
But the edge of the park isn't the outside world, though.
How do you keep them from going? Like, where do you trigger? You're just gonna let them get to the outside world, and then fucking you're gonna be walking next to somebody. They're gonna get off a plane, and their head's gonna fly off.
No, I would say that the edge of the park, it's on an island, and the edge of the park is gonna be water. But if they got that far, it would be water. So yeah, I think if they got on a boat and started taking off past that water or past the beach line, yeah, I think they would blow.
No, I don't
that's
think so. I
fascinating
think
component.
you want a cushion. You don't want it to be like the water, because if these hosts don't have to breathe, they could dive underwater if the thing doesn't blow up, and you are not going to be able to find them. You need a cushion. You need it to have like area, like, hey, this didn't work properly. We need to go find this. Like, I might be thinking into it too much, but you do want that safe space of being able to find them.
Because when he went to the edge of the park, he went back. He didn't continue to go anywhere.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did kind of go back. He didn't go any farther. I don't think that was even the edge. Like I said, I think it's on an island, and I think you can get to the water. Bubba Husky says that he's been outside the park because he was at that party with Logan. I think that's part of the alphas. I don't think any of them had the bombs in them yet. That's what I was just talking about. Because Dolores has been out of there too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So we know that he doesn't have it. And I was just saying that the fact that he went past the edge of the park is proof. But I guess we could have
he does have it now that he's back in the damn park. Before that presentation and stuff, they didn't bother to implement it because of that situation.
But like Bubba Husky hasn't watched a few of them, he doesn't know that we think that where they met Logan and stuff is actually inside the park, inside one of the parks, like a future world. Right?
Yeah, I still don't believe that. That's why.
Well, I don't even know if where they met him was a future world. Like, that could have been outside, but that could have been. I mean, either way.
I think it is.
But I think what I agreed with the future world was the very first. I've been weird. I have that coming in at the very end of this, but where they first opened up with Arnold, I think they were at a party outside with old Ford, but when they were walking and Arnold was walking, that was future world. I think that's going to end up being Bernard and Dolores, or if it is Arnold, it'll be like a robot Arnold. But I think it's going to be Bernard and Dolores, and that's future world when he was looking at that. But time will tell, time will tell. So this next scene with Simon and Maeve is definitely my least favorite. I was not buying Simon's shitty acting, not for 1 second. I think I literally almost like puked in my mouth for a minute when he was saying, "You deserve your daughter, to mother her, to be joyful and proud." I was like, get the fuck out of here. That was just garbage. Like, oh, he's a terrible actor. But I did like how the new tech coming in, treating her like a machine was exactly how Simon used to treat her, like a machine, not a person. But what do you guys think about that beautiful, just heartfelt, touching scene?
It was great because at one point I'm like, okay, Silo's gonna be redeemed. Then the moment he actually just flat out said like Maeve is like freaking like in control host with her mind, I was like, fuck, like why did he just snitched? But then after near the end of the episode, I'm like, wait a minute. It kind of makes sense because if he didn't say that, the tech guy wouldn't even bother to like go full on, whatchamacallit, Kyburn on his ass, on freaking Maeve. So it's like, okay, I understand it. But we still need that redemption arc and all that stuff. So it's like, now I have to like freaking make sure like you get to your damn daughter. So it was good. And I knew Maeve was going to go back to go finding her damn daughter. Some people were like, no, BBM, that's it. That was going to be the end of it. Nope. She's going to go back. Valid Beyond. And I just hope, because in the beginning of the episode, the beginning of the season, we see War shoot down some Ghost Nation members. So it's like, wait a minute. Maeve's daughter is with Ghost Nation members. Is she going to also gun down Maeve's daughter? Or is she going to capture Maeve's daughter? Then Andy's theory about, Dolores kills Maeve's daughter might come true. Then I'll be pissed because then we got to give it to Andy.
Yeah.
Oh,
that would be so great. I saw that too. I was like, oh man, it's coming true. And then you're gonna have a Dolores versus Maeve, and maybe we'll get some Aki in there. Oh man, it'll be so great. And then it'll be just like the Night King on the other side. You just want the Night King to win, right? Maeve will just be raising up freaking the host, like, come on, fight for me. Oh, so excited. But yeah, that pain. The kid has to die because the big thing is it's a child actor and they're going to keep growing up. They're supposed to be robots and not grow up. So this can only last like another season before people are going to be like, hey, that robot's getting pretty big.
That's taking it to a whole nother level. And speaking of whole nother levels, did we ever come up with why Kiksuya was able to walk all over the facility undetected, or are we just saying basically going to go with Ford was guiding it and Ford caused everybody to be gone, or Ford let that go, or do we even have an answer for that, or is it just one of those?
Yeah, I'm guessing Ford knew because he was like, it was a point in time he was watching him, but he didn't know the full picture. So I'm guessing this could have been the part. But if not, what the hell? It is again just allowed to do to walk away. But this isn't the first time ever like we've seen situations like this where hosts are just wandering around and no one's watching.
That's
well,
true.
I think it was like we said before, where they are meant to like they're guards of the edge of the park. Whereas they think they're wandering around, they're not actually just wandering around. They're like on the edge of the park guarding people from going past the edge of the park. Right? I think that's their purpose.
That's a stretch, but I like it. We'll go with that.
Well, the Ghost Nation is on the edge of the park. They do say that.
Yeah, absolutely. But not inside the Mesa.
Well, I'm not saying inside the Mesa. I thought we were talking about the Ghost Nation. How he was walking around without finding him. I get it inside the Mesa, but
that's what I'm talking about. How was he walking all throughout the Mesa and able to go down and find Koa without somebody stopping him going, why is this native walking around the Mesa unattended?
Well, yeah, I think
we didn't see one employee.
Well, that's what I was getting towards. Like, they were meant to roam the Mesa or like the edge of the park, and so they don't have a set place that they're supposed to be, right? And this one just happened to like never die, so he never gets updated. So they probably can't track him the same way they can track all the other ones. So where the other ones you would probably be alerted as soon as one of them started moving. But I can't make an excuse for the Mesa. Like, where are all the employees?
Yeah, it's like they're all at lunch or at somebody's birthday and they're all like blowing out cake or something.
Oh, that would have been great if someone would have said that. I would have died laughing. It's Joe's birthday. We got cake in the break room. Let's go get some.
But Chrissy Oldstone is definitely with you. She thinks Maeve's daughter is definitely getting got, and the chat is pretty much with you. So everybody thinks she has to die, and that's so mean. Why do you want a little girl to die? Come on, that's just horrible.
Well, I mean, they foreshadowed it too, right? Like, Aki tells the little girl, like, your mom said she promised she would protect you, but that's a promise she couldn't keep. And then at the very end of the episode, he's like, I'll protect her like she's my own daughter, I promise, or some shit. And I was like, oh, geez, like, you just said, like, we can't keep these promises. It just because he already did it too earlier. He said he was going to protect them. The man in black killed her, so they didn't protect him then either. So,
well, speaking of Akacheta, we also got another one. We see how that Maeve got drawn outside of her house, and it was real. It wasn't just like a figment that they put in there for that scene. That Akacheta actually put it there to help wake them up. So another one answered. Were you feeling pretty positive about that, BBM? I know you like this episode. Let's hear some.
Yeah, because I thought that it was like some type of like, symbolism in season one, how Maeve, woke up, and it just so happened we see like a maze. So it kind of just spells it out for us. But then it actually was there this whole time, like, wait a minute. So we actually just set the time out and was just drawing symbols of the maze like all around the damn house. Maybe that's why Maeve is pissed off at Ghost Nation. What you thought, Andy?
I thought it was all right. Like, they put it there. I guess if he's drawing on everything, he would do it. He wants like to wake them up. He wants them to remember. And maybe it helped when something crazy happened. Maybe it helped them remember. But I was kind of happy that it wasn't some symbolism, because that has been driving me nuts since season one, where I'm like, but how did that get on the ground? Like, why would that be there?
I was actually happy with that explanation. I was like, all right, so there's another one that they answered. Bringing another one back from way back from season one. It's like, whoo, you got to stick in there, but they will answer any and all questions, and I do appreciate that. But I must admit, like, it felt like it, but I didn't know for sure that he was talking to Maeve through the daughter until he said, but what did he say? He's like, but it was a promise you couldn't keep. It's like, I was like, this is like him talking to Maeve, not the daughter right now. Like, when did you guys realize that there was like a double conversation going on there? When did you realize it, BBM?
I realized that near the end of the episode, that some of my comment section was like, no, the moment when he's talking his native language, he's been talking to Maeve. When he was talking in English, he was talking to the daughter. I was like, well, that makes sense, because in the previous episode, he was talking to Maeve in his like regular native language, not in English. I'm like, oh shoot, it all came together.
Yeah. When did you realize it, Andy?
When BBM said when he just all of a sudden started talking in English, and it was like a little nice phrase. It changed from like the style he was talking. It was like he was talking to a kid, but all the stuff before that he wasn't. So it was like he was, I don't know. So yeah, it was about that time. I was like, is he talking to someone else? Like, why would he switch languages? And then I was like, oh, maybe he's talking to Maeve. I was like, oh shit, maybe. And so then I'm waiting for it, and I'm like, oh, are we gonna get that? And
that was pretty clean. I did like that. I have to admit, that was pretty clean. So next, we are blessed with a much, much, much needed Ford scene. And Akacheta says he met the man who put them to sleep. And I would say, if anything, Ford's kind of the one who gave them life and woke them up, so to speak. Like, what do you think about that, BBM? Would you say he's the one that put him to sleep, or is he the one that actually helping him wake up? And on that same note, for both of you, are we seeing Ford these days as the good guy or the villain? What's up, BBM?
I'm in the fence on that. I don't know if he is good. I don't know if he's evil. At times I'm like, dude, he's evil. You're a freaking psychopath. Or maybe you're a sociopath. Like, I don't know. It's like, I want to say he was good at the end of season 1. We're like, okay, so he pretty much knew like the hosts are alive and stuff. He's helping them out. But then the season with freaking Bernard, I'm like, wait, are you evil? Are you not? Like, season 5, ask me that question. And I'll tell you if he's evil.
You are the ultimate fence riding SOB. I love you. Oh my God.
Season
like,
5.
50-50. Right out of the gate, I'm 50-50. I was like, shit. What's up, Andy? Where's it at?
Well, since BBM has taken up all the room on the middle, I'm gonna go with he's a bad guy he's like Thanos, where he's doing bad things for the right reasons. I think he knows that the world would never let these robots exist without someone having control over them. And that's what like Aki's whole position is. It's like, that's why he says, this is the wrong world, right? There's another world out there and we belong there. I think it's all about, they just want to live. They don't want someone being able to control them. Right. And so then you have Ford, who's like, yeah, I'm going to give them that opportunity. They're going to go to this secret world and where they're not being controlled. But my problem with Ford is that he's killing a bunch of all these like innocent ass employees in this process. He like sacrifices himself, right? Well, no, you put yourself in the computer first. That's not sacrificing yourself, dude. You're still alive. That doesn't count. But all these security employees getting blasted by hosts, like, what? You are a shit person, even if you believe like these hosts should have what you created them, and then you're having them kill innocent people that are just trying to do their job. Like, you're a dick. But I see
the same way that Dolores killed him. He didn't make her pull the trigger. He just let him free and pretty much tried to give them free will and let them make their own decisions. Now, if that's what's happening, then that's what's happening.
Yeah, but he knows what's going to happen.
I go with the whole Clerks situation with that. It's like The Empire Strikes Back. It's like, yeah, all those innocent builders got killed or whatever trying to build the Death Star, but you knew who you were working for. You knew you were on the wrong side of shit. So if you got while you were building shit, then you got. And if these guys and these techs are doing all this stuff and raping hosts and stairwells and know what's going on with all these things, when they're starting to be woke, then they're getting got. And c'est la vie.
You're assuming that they know it. The head of security doesn't know anything about the company he works for.
The head of security is a moron.
So,
he doesn't know anything.
He doesn't know anything, so nobody knows anything. They're robots. That'd be like if you were a video game developer, and then like you're one of the NPCs in a video game like comes into your phone and electrocutes the shit out of your head, and you're like, well, you were making them to get killed in this video game, so you deserve it. That's not the same thing. They're robots. They don't. The boys don't know.
So I don't know. Some of them do, and some of them are raping them in stairwells, and they damn well know that's not the right thing. But I guess they are robots, so maybe it is the right thing. SC says he believes the hosts are better people than humans, so he probably feels the world would be better off with hosts than humans. We still don't know what the real world is like after all. And that's true. We do not know. BBM, get your ass off the fence and give us an idea. What do you think's going on out there in the real world? What do you think it's like out there right now?
It's just normal. It's like if the world was just like a wasteland or no food or just like anarchy and stuff, it's like I think everyone would try to make it into freaking Westworld at this point. But not everyone's there, just the rich people. You know, and if so, it's just the rich people who's able to go there. Why aren't they just permanently staying there? Why is this called a vacation? It shouldn't be called a vacation. It should be called paradise.
I agree 100%. How about you, Andy?
I don't know what the real world's like. Shit. Who knows? People can't die. It's probably terrible. There's probably millions and billions of people. Skyscrapers everywhere. It sucks. Oh, but I live. Okay, sorry. I live in the mountains, so I can.
I'm with you. He says no more sickness. So if there's no more sickness, then but people still have to be dying of old age and such. But
Plus,
yeah,
you'd have
not nearly as much as should be dying. You're right.
Like natural selection is pretty much like slowing way down with the modern society. If nobody can die, there is no natural selection. That means like your idiot neighbor who like does donuts in the street all the time, like that guy just goes out and has a bunch of little donutting kids all over, and none of them can die from crashing their car into something.
Right. But they're not saying they can't die. They're just saying they cured all the sickness and illness. They're not saying people are still dying, though.
And they have some light machine that can kill or heal bullet wounds. So if this guy crashes his car into a light pole and he just has this light that can fix him, I don't know. There is positive to people being able to die. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, of course, absolutely. Especially with the world only having a finite amount of resources. BBM, was it just me, or did Ford look a little hurt when Akacheta referred to Arnold as the creator and not him?
That would be hurt too. Like it was both me and Arnold, and like, oh, my creator. I'm like, damn.
He did everything. He got no love, no juice. Did you notice that, Andy?
Yeah, I thought that was great. Like I like those subtle disses, like, because it happens fairly frequently. Like where Ford's like, "Yeah, I'm your creator," and Bernard did it. Like, no, you did. I can see your programming, but all the good stuff was by an Arnold. So who the hell's Arnold? Right? Remember last season? So he keeps getting dissed on his programming ability, and I like that.
Absolutely.
But the best thing to come from this episode is Dolores' new nickname.
That was pretty great. Absolutely. Christian Voldstone says the hosts don't know how to bring themselves back from death. If they figure it out, then the hosts are truly immortal. But basically, Angela took care of that situation, blew up the cradle, and Dolores already told Charlotte Hale that you think that was our, you think that was our savior, that was our leash. And she was quite happy to break it. So basically, the hosts are now, they're on their last life, right? Isn't that what's going on, BBM?
Well, that's what we're meant to believe. But according to Dolores, she has something else now. So if so, she wouldn't be able to, not be able to, but she wouldn't thought of the idea, wait, let's go destroy the damn cradle. That's how I look at it.
How about you, Andy?
I see it as like a difference between humans and like the humans want to be robots and the robots want to be human, right? So they want to be able to die. Whereas humans in the real world are making it so they doing everything to not die. But the hosts see like the the benefit of being able to die. It gives things stakes, and the Man in Black sees that too. He knows that there needs to be stakes in things, or shit doesn't matter, or you're just in a loop. And the hosts see that as well. So that's why they had to destroy the cradle to fully be alive.
Then why did the Man in Black just destroy the cradle from Jumpstart?
What do you mean?
Because if the cradle's not making, if the cradle is like, you know, the line of making them like not be fully alive, why didn't he destroy the cradle?
Well, because then Westworld doesn't exist. He loves Westworld, that's the thing, but he wants it to have real stakes. So it must be like completely different from the real world. I don't know. But yeah, I think there's just that viewpoint difference where the people want to be immortal and the hosts just want to be mortal. You know?
Yeah. Game of Theories with Marie. But all the hosts are following a program, or else Maeve would have known her daughter is simply a story, and she would have stayed on that train and got away, but she got off because she is programmed. You believe that, BBM?
Yeah, I still believe that she is freaking programmed to get off that damn train, because Ford is meant for her. He has other plans for a freaking Maeve, because he made her too powerful to the point that if he's going to come back into the damn fold, he needs a new body. So I'm kind of on that theory.
We're back to Ford is coming back. Dude, I made the fun of that in like, what, episode 6? Ford's coming back as Maeve. Is that really going to happen?
that would be pretty good, but...
That would have been the sickest call ever. Ford's coming back as Maeve. Oh, that'll be great if that happens.
If, you know, I like the sentiment. I do. I'm one of the people that think that, like, you know, Maeve is still, or she was at least at that point, still on a path or like following programming. But I don't like the reason for it, because that makes her almost more human. You ever like love someone who treats you like shit? Probably most people can think back to like high school where you love someone and they treated you terribly, and you knew that, but you stayed there and you still loved them. It's even though you knew they were a bad person or they weren't good for you, it was like you still loved them and you still wanted to be there for them. I think that's how it is with the kid. It doesn't matter to her if she really is her daughter. It feels real to her, and that's what matters. She loves her, and you can't. And love's blind and stupid.
Absolutely. That's why she said, am I real? And is my hands choking you out on your throat right now real? Does that feel real to you? It's like her love for her daughter is real, and that's all that really matters. SC says he's most curious about the MIB's agenda, or the MIB's daughter's agenda, and thought the MIB was being tested in the park for fidelity, but now thinks that idea is dead. It is not dead, sir. The MIB is a damn host, and that is going to be like some endgame shit.
Stop it. He is human. He is human. Charlotte's a human. Not that acronym that Andy created last week. No. They're both human. You got to stop this madness, people. You got to stop this. You know, that's what's going to happen.
Go for it. What?
It's going to be, you know, the Gracie. That's why she's human as well. She's literally just going inside and getting her freaking father. If he was a freaking host, she probably would have known this, and she wouldn't even bother to even go all the way to Westworld to even go find him. It's facts, people. Information is laying down the line. He's not a host. He's human.
I'm telling you, you heard it here first. This season is going to end with either Gracie or the Man in Black's ear. Look, we're going to have a little panning on his ear, and that little white fluid is going to come dripping out of either Elsie's or Emily, whatever. It's either going to be Emily or the Man in Black, and we're going to see that dripping out of their ear. You'll be like, damn it, he was right. Watch. I'm telling you.
No way. Emily. The Man in Black is not a host. Like, he's not a host. I'm sticking with that. But here's what you do if you want to see, because they like to give little hints. I bet if you look in that notebook, or when Charlotte's looking at that thing and she's like, what do you mean? She's talking to people right now. If you see two little dots right next to each other, and then two little dots right next to each other moving away, or one dot like moving away, then you know one of them is a host. Then you can narrow it down, right? Because they would have give you that little hint.
They're never gonna show that.
Just like the we're calling LC and Hale thing. Don't listen to the damn subtitles.
No, Elsie is a host. You're a host. You're a host.
They're all hosts, I'm telling you. It's coming down. Ford is generally so curious when asking Akacheta, like, what truth is that? Like, he's really interested. Is it because he's interested in his story and how it's coming? Or, like, is that just mad scientist? Like, what does this crazy robot really think is going on here? Or does he really just generally care about him being awakened now? What's going on with that, BBM?
I still want to know, like, when's this point in time when Ford actually finds this dude? It's like, is this during the time of season 1? Or is this because he met up with him? He's like, wait a minute. So I'm guessing the hosts actually are waking up because this is like pretty much proof since he's basically been watching from Jumpstar. And then he learned like, oh, so this is his real goal and stuff. So it must be him actually waking up. 4 put 2 and 2 together is okay. Now I gotta like continue on with my plan and stuff. But I don't know.
When he calls him he was a flower growing in the dark. I mean, do you think Akacheta was one of the main reasons that turned Ford around, Andy?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is that it was more like that was the point where Ford was like, oh shit, like Arnold was right. They can be alive. And this is proof of that. So so that's when he starts putting everything in motion. That's probably when he starts developing the reveries and all that shit. So yeah, I think Aki's the one that does it.
SC says MIB host is dead because Maeve would have known and tried to control him, unless she just saw him and freaked out and like didn't realize it was a host. And like I said, well, yeah, I don't know if SC hasn't been here. We believe that there's a whole new Fandango host thing going on. And like Andy and I, we believe that Charlotte Hale is actually a host. And that's why when they put that little zapper in the back and to test people if they're host, she was able to pass it. Because she's one of those new Fandango hosts, which would make the MIB one of those new Fandango hosts, which would be why Maeve wasn't able to tell he was a host and didn't try to control him. So if our theory is correct, then that theory is definitely very still alive. But yeah, that's just us down our crazy little rabbit hole. But damn it, I don't think we're that far off with it.
I'm telling you, especially at the end, like how Charlotte picks up a laptop. A fucking programmer, a guy that does this for his job, is looking at this notepad and doesn't realize that she's talking to somebody like as this is going on. But Charlotte picks it up for 1 second and is like, what do you mean? She's talking to people right now. Like, how does she know that? How good is Charlotte? Like,
yeah, and she didn't even know anything. Like, she didn't even know about the mesh network or any of that. The only reason she was saying, like, yeah, the mesh network and acting like she knew, because Bernard told her when they were in that little DNA sniffer room. So it's like she didn't even know anything about that. And I'm wondering, like, how is this woman the head CEO of the Delos board and doesn't even know how shit works? It's like shit is not adding up. I'm telling you. What's up, BBM?
She's just smart. She's pretty much another version. No, I'm not even going to finish that sentence. Then you're going to like switch it. So if I say she's another version of Elsie, then you're like, okay, BBM, then I confirm you're saying that Elsie's host and Charlotte's host. So I'm just like, no, she's just as smart as Elsie, apparently. That's how I'm saying it.
I don't know. How you feel about that, Andy?
I think she's a host. Like, you know that I think she's a host. So, like, if I had to bet, like, I would probably put money down, like, on half odds that she's a host. Like, I am not confident that she's a host. Because it just, I mean, that scene was so significant where she looks at the thing like they're about to test her. They test her. She looks down at it like, oh, shit. And they're like, nope, she's good. And then she, like, puts a little smirk on her face. I was like, yep, she's definitely a host right there. And if she is a host, like, I'm going to make a clip of that, like, in rotation, and then in the background, and have a video every time BBM says, no, Charlotte's not a host. She's not a host. He's going to be going, she's not a host. But then it's just going to be like her smirking at that little machine.
Oh, shit. Akacheta says, the truth is there isn't one world, but many. Why would he think that there's any more than two worlds? Why does he think that there's many worlds?
He knows. I'm telling you, that mesh network. He can access it. He's like the original Maeve. He just didn't take it to the point of what Maeve did. He is like a seer, and she's like a doer.
So when he's talking about the many worlds, he's talking about the other worlds in Westworld, basically, and Shogun World and the other places in the park.
Yeah, and the future world that nobody knows about. The secret world.
You believe that, BBM?
No, I just think that instead of him saying two, he just said many to make us all speculate. I just meant that, okay, there's the Westworld world, and then there's, the outside world thing. Like, it's not just, Westworld we're dealing with. That's how I saw it.
Huh?
I do have a question, though.
What's
we did see, people in the cold storage did leave. So it's like, did his wifey, end up going back or something? Like, we never even figured out, where did she go? But pretty much a lot of those people, the only person, who was in the cold storage we saw leave and we're still, around and stuff was Abernathy. Because he was supposed to be in the cold storage, but he left.
So what you're asking, what happened now?
Yeah, what happened with the people in the cold storage? And if
All the
if
people
they
in
all
cold
left,
storage?
yeah, if they did leave, because that was how season 1 ended, it's where is, this Ghost Nation's his wife? And why isn't didn't she go back to the
Because Ford
settlement and stuff?
reprogrammed them. That's Dolores's army. That's all the hosts that were coming out of the woods shooting at all these real people. He lined them all up. That's all Dolores's army now.
So if we actually see the followers of YM Masks, we're gonna see her.
If we see Koha, yeah, she might be in one of those black masks. We have no idea. But yeah, I think Ford, that's one of the things Ford reprogrammed in his new narrative. And that's all Dolores's army now. That's where they're all at. That's what I would say. I mean, we don't know, but that would be my guess. And I feel pretty solid about that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that the cold storage people are definitely Dolores's army. And then just a little thing, I don't know, it's probably not the right time to bring it up, but since I've been rambling so much this season, how about the fact that they're called the Ghost Nation, and he calls the people who replace other people that they know ghosts? So you think they named themselves the Ghost Nation? Ford figured out that he was calling them ghosts and was like, these are the Ghost Nation. They recognize when.
Well, we already saw that Ford kind of took his own thing, and it's kind of replaying off that. So it could be, yeah, Ford could have totally heard that and just did it. Just the same way as that game was supposed to die, and Ford was kind of using that as a little trick and trinket, and basically Akacheta used it to become awoke. So, yeah, that stuff kind of keeps playing off each other. What's that, BBM?
I accept that.
So finally, we get the Emily sighting that we all figured was coming, and there's no need to point out the fact again that BBM and Andy were wrong, that she's not the one that saved the Men in Black. It was Akacheta.
Technically, she did save him from the Ghost Nation.
I want to catch that. Because he wanted her to pretty much die slowly or something like that. I don't know. I got to rewatch that scene again. But I think he was meant to freaking kill the Men in Black and stuff. That's why he kind of brought him in to make sure he actually sees him die or something. I don't know.
So Emily says he's a burden only she can bear. Akacheta says if he's your father, then you know about his sickness and the things he's done to spread it. What does this mean, BBM? What's the sickness they're talking about?
Yeah, I'm guessing you're just recalling back to how he went to go kill Maeve and the daughter. I think that's the sickness he's referring to. That and pretty much him being evil throughout Westworld and stuff, and being the villain, quote unquote villain. I guess you're just recalling that.
Living a life without consequences, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I think so too. What do you think about that, Andy?
Maybe. I think it's the violence. Yeah, he's spreading his violence.
That's the sickness he's talking about. Basically thinking he can do whatever he wants to whoever he wants and get away with it scot-free with no consequences. That has to be it.
But ain't that like the sickness of like almost majority of the guests? Like they're just coming into Westworld or matter of fact any park and just doing whatever they want to do.
So that's basically the sickness that he's talking about is being human. Spreading his sickness, being human, and they're spreading that sickness trying to take the humans into being hosts. And that's me. Is that the sickness that he's talking about spreading?
Well, at least to his degree, though, because he's still like collecting other other guests and like letting them go.
Right.
I'm guessing when it comes to like him, it's like, yeah. Because that's what, like in season 1, where he's like, oh, the reason why I came to Westworld because of you, because I heard what you were able to do. So I'm guessing he kind of is the sickness.
But I'm saying, like, do you think the sickness is Akacheta knows that he's trying to take human consciousness and upload it into host and live forever? And that's the sickness that he's talking to Emily about? Like, if this is your father, you know the sickness he's trying to spread. He's trying to have people live forever, and he's not about to let that happen.
Okay, now I get you. Yeah, that could be it, too.
Are they going that deep with it, or am I just getting too far down the rabbit hole down this thing again?
No, he seems to be on something there, because I believe he kind of has an idea of what they're doing since he kind of saw William's project, but not fully see it. I don't know.
What do you think about all that, Andy? You think, are we going too deep with it?
I don't know.
I think the sickness that Akacheta is talking about, he knows about them doing the Delos situation and all these other people trying to convert themselves into hosts, and I think that might be the sickness that he's talking about. And he's like, you got to put a stop to this. And who would put a stop to that? Oh, Emily. And who did Emily get invited by? Oh, Charlotte. And why did Charlotte invite Emily? Oh, because Charlotte is Logan's daughter and Emily is William's daughter, and they're cousins, and they're about to shut this whole motherfucker down. I mean, isn't that basically happening?
So Charlotte's not a host, is what you're saying?
Exactly.
I'm saying Charlotte and Emily are both hosts. They were the daughters of Logan and William, and now they're turned into hosts.
So she could be the daughter of Logan. We don't know that.
I'm positive. Everybody thinks that it's like Charlie, the son of Arnold. So Charlotte, Charlie, they think maybe that's his daughter, twins, whatever. I'm like, I don't think so. I think that's Logan's daughter. I don't think it has anything to do with Arnold. I'm almost positive that's Logan's daughter. And that's why she was the one who invited Emily to the park, and Emily was like, no, I'm not going to come. But, her favorite little cousin that she grew up with invited her, and that's the one person she can't say no to. And the cousin's like, we got a plan. We need to do this. And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm all in. Let's do it.
That I would agree with. That I would.
Because, I mean, Charlotte's pretty young. How does Charlotte, somebody as young as her, get to be the head CEO of the Delos board unless she's family? She has to be family, or she's a super genius out of Harvard. I mean, and I'm not really getting that. So she has to be family.
It's because diversity is Delos' strength. But I'm just
really.
I've been watching too much E3. Oh man, if you've been watching E3, every company's like, diversity is our strength. We get it. We get it. So now it's in my head.
Oh, that's so sick. So Akacheta admits the only reason he's healing the MIB is for him to hurt and feel some of the pain that he has caused. Emily says, give him to me and he will feel pain. Only her way will hurt much, much worse. What the hell is her way, BBM?
Simple. Get him out of the damn game. That will pretty much hurt him because he's just obsessed with it. So if she just brings him out of them, it's going to hurt him. But he needs to feel this pain so he can be a father again. But DJ don't like that, so he wants something else crazy, doesn't he?
I don't know. I was just reading SC. He thinks Emily may want to hostify the MIB so she can control his board vote. I don't know if it's going that way, but I like the way it works.
That brings us to what we were saying earlier. Maybe she might just do some type of Cersei, revenge thing and just put us like freaking Mind into a host.
Right.
And freaks out. That'd be crazy.
I tried to think of what would be worse than being tortured, and I was like, for the Man in Black, it would be becoming a host. He doesn't He doesn't want that. Like he needs those stakes, and then you take those stakes away from him by making him like a host. That would kill him. It would not kill him, but it would drive him crazy. It would be the worst thing. And it would be like a way for his daughter to manifest this hatred she has for her dad, of where like where people cut themselves to feel pain. It's like she despises Westworld because of how much her dad loved it, and then she makes him a part of this thing he loved as like punishment. Oh, that would be so great. Even though I liked Man in Black, I don't know.
I want to see him in pain.
But that would that not like that would be the worst thing for him, is becoming immortal and his life no longer having any stakes to it.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. So we never really talked about it that much last week. What were Emily and Charlotte Hale going to meet about? What's their meeting? What was their meeting supposed to be about?
Just that deciding vote. Just like, how Charlotte met up with the Man in Black, I'm guessing. But I think it's like more than that, because again, like how Emily or Grace, whatever we want to call her, was in, that Raj or whatever. And we saw her opening up that book. It's like, something even bigger than that.
Yeah, why is she going to have a notebook of the park with specialized maps telling her where certain things are if she's just there for a board vote?
See, not a host.
Oh, absolutely. They're both the new Fandango style host. What's she doing? What were they doing there, Andy? What was going on with that? What was that meeting all about? Why was Charlotte begging Emily to be there?
I think that she doesn't want Westworld to exist, so she would be willing to, if they are finally getting all the information from Westworld, then that would be beneficial. She would see that as a positive, so she would want to help, like, to basically get rid of Westworld. So by Westworld completing their mission and creating, hybrids, I think that's what it was about, like seeing when they could close down Westworld.
SC says the fact that Emily can speak the GN language, the Ghost Nation language, but the Man in Black can't after all these years in the park, and that was the thing I was like, that's kind of one of the things that sticks with us, that she's got to be a host. Only hosts can understand that, because the Man in Black has this game whooped from end to end, and not even he decided to learn that language. It's like, why would she? What made her decide to learn that? Why? What would be the point of it? Unless she's a host, BBM.
You gotta repeat that question. One part of her was like, if she's a host. And I'm like, no.
Well, that's because the fact that Emily is, I mean, we know the Man in Black has whooped this game from side to side and back and forth. Like, he's done everything you can do in this game, and yet he can't speak the Lakota language. But yet his daughter, the one who really kind of hates this whole place, somehow she's taken the time to speak and find out what they're saying. It's like, if she's not a host, why is she? Why?
Well, then it explains more of, how the Man in Black is not really, is kind of like a sociopath where he doesn't really care about even like the host, to the point that he doesn't even care about learning their language at this point. That, or just like ever since the death of his wife, he just is really just tuned out of everything. But it is strange, like he just never like, but no, because it does say like he never was there. In season 1, we never seen him interact with like any Ghost Nation or whatever. And we don't really see him actually returning to the park. It was always like, it's been years.
We hear him say that he's done every game, he's played every facet. Like, we've heard him tell us that there's nothing and no place in this park that he hasn't done. Like, he says that straight up in season 1. He's like,
I don't want to say he's racist, but it's like, I don't know why. Maybe it makes it difficult if he didn't know their language or something. Maybe it'll be tougher game. So he's like, you know what? I don't want to know everything. I'll leave some of it to a mystery. That's how I'm gonna go for it.
That's funny, but what I think it is just like we learned in Shogun World that the host will talk in your language. He probably just forced them to do that. But if he was trying to figure out every little secret of this park, though, I would think that he would want to learn the language because there's probably some secrets in there.
Right, yeah. I didn't think there was any stone he left unturned.
He must not have played video games when he was younger.
Yeah, he didn't hit every spot. So, yeah, I don't know. I believe Charlotte and Emily are cousins. They're there to shut down the park that essentially took away both their fathers from them. And I just think that's their master plan. And the big thing, I think, so we saw, Akacheta saw this big thing, and he thinks it's like the door to get out, and he goes back, and it's not there, but we saw a big picture of this thing, and BBM, what exactly was it that we were seeing down there? What was all that going on that Akacheta first saw?
That had to be William's project that he showed Dolores. And I'm guessing this is the Valley of the Beyond, where pretty much everyone is trying to get there, but they're having difficulty getting there, because when he went back there with his wife, like, he couldn't even find it anymore, kind of like the what door situation. So I'm guessing that's when, like, Ford figured out, okay, this dude is heading to that place, so now somehow got a program that he can't see it or something. That's how I saw it.
So you think it was all still there, but it was like Bernard with the door, he just programmed him so he couldn't see it, that wasn't even filled? That's pretty cool. I like that. What about you, Andy?
That's the same thing I thought. I thought that I didn't actually think we were seeing it through his eyes, though. I thought we were seeing it through his wife's eyes. And it was kind of showing the difference between what she could see and what he could. So we saw that he could see it earlier, but even though, like, he's trying to wake her up completely, she still is, like, under the control of the programming. She can remember, but it's not like she's fully awake like he is.
Right. Well, drum roll, please. I think the Valley Beyond is Future World. I think that's why Lawrence said, don't you have to die to get there? All those machines basically look like a nuclear plant that's pumping air and energy to like an underground, basically, Future World. I think once the host passed the Westworld test and hit their fidelity lines, I think with their human consciousness, they get implanted and they get to move on to Future World, and that's basically the test world that's going on in there. I think that's why Lawrence said you have to die to get there, because you have to die out of Westworld. They implant a human consciousness into you and send you to go live in the whole Future World. So I think that's what that whole thing is down there. I don't think it has anything to do with the cradle or anything like that. I think basically the Valley Beyond is Future World because it's beyond where you're at out of Westworld. It's the next step. Boom. What you think about that?
Seems legit to me. And I think, getting to that door would be, like I said, I can't remember if I said it before the stream or during it, but if they found all those blank hosts there, did they just, maybe Dolores uses like the blank host to actually dig the hole for her to get to the door to go to this future world? And then as this is happening, so if it leads somewhere secret that like everybody doesn't know about, then it would be beneficial for Bernard to flood it and kill all the hosts. And maybe we get a scene at the end, like with Teddy helping Dolores's group through, and that's why he's floating in there too. And they're like, oh, they're closing off. The people are coming. We need to close it off. So, and then he sacrifices himself for, I don't know, we'll probably get something like that. At least I'm picturing that in my head. What's that, DJ?
What if they're all just trying to swim down to the door to get into Future World, but that's the one thing that they never got programmed to do. None of them can swim, so they just all drowned out. Oh, that's got to be it. But I'm telling you, that when I looked at that, that just looked like a big old power plant to me, power plant supply. And like I was, like I've been saying this whole time, I think this whole season is basically it started at the end and it's working itself backwards. So it started at the very end, the end point, and it's been working itself backwards all season. And what we saw at the very beginning, opening, was Bernard and Dolores, and we thought it was Arnold taking Dolores, and talking about all that. But basically, I think this is going to be the new Bernard in Future World with Dolores, and that's why we saw it in the first, because that's the ending. After all this, we're going to find out that the Valley Beyond is Future World, and that's going to basically be next season.
Hmm.
He said,
We disagree.
he's like, I don't know. I think I'm on the fence about that.
I agree. I think that, you know, I was with you that they were working their way forward, or working with their way backwards as well. I didn't think about it that far, like that we were seeing actually Bernard and Dolores there, but you know, that's a good theory. I could see it. I'm not gonna knock it down. I don't know that it's
story,
true.
and I'm sticking to it. Living My Rhapsody says it looked like a server to her and to upload human minds. I think that's kind of what the Cradle was. And I think they took the Cradle out to not be able to do that or back themselves up anymore. But when I looked at all those, it looked like a lot more than a server. It looked like straight up nuclear power generators, and it went deep back into that mountain. So it almost looked like enough power and energy to basically sustain a whole underground city, which what I believe Future World is.
That's what I said like a few weeks ago, is I think that it's, you know, the people would get put into hosts, become hybrids, and then those hybrids would then live in Future World.
Yeah, because Lawrence said, it's like, don't you have to die to get there? Because you would, as a host, you'd have to die, get uploaded, and then get sent there. And basically, the Man in Black is like, no, it's my invention. Basically, he built Future World, and he's the one that's going to go burn it down to the ground. And that's what he's going to do. I mean, I think they told us everything we need to know. I think that's exactly what it is. What's up, BBM? We just way out in left field or what?
So you think you're going to be seeing Man in Black and Bernard Ford destroying that place? Because if not, it's like, if Bernard, or should say Ford, floods the place, and Man in Black looks at it, he's gonna well, there's nothing else for me to do. Ain't just gonna leave.
No, he's going to try to find a way to burn it to the ground, just like he said. I think that's why Ford flooded it, so nobody could get to it, because he wants to save it, because he wants his consciousness to eventually end up living there forever. So I think he's trying to stop people from getting to it, and that's why he flooded it out.
I still don't know why this is the only Cradle, and wait, is this the Cradle? Does the Cradle only work with Westworld hosts? Or does it work with pretty much all hosts in general?
I think the Cradle was what held all consciousness. That's where all the hosts, like if you died or if their control unit got damaged, you could basically just grab a new control unit, put it in that machine, and zap their entire everything, and they'd all be back on the mesh network and never miss a beat. I think
that's dumb. They should have separated in each and every world.
But they did, because the Cradle, from what they said, the Cradle was completely separate and off grid off of the mainframe. So the Cradle was its own separate thing, so nothing could ever happen to it until Angela walked in and happened to it.
Should have been separated.
It was, but it should have been more separated. Absolutely. But yeah, that's it.
The data that's inside it was Abernathy. Could have been just another Cradle. Just different. Portable, at least.
It could have been. It could have been. So, you guys, that's pretty much what I had on this episode until we start getting into some predictions and what we saw for next week. You guys have any other questions about what went on and how much you just loved this episode and how great it was and want to dote about how fantastic it was for a little bit more?
Now, this is just a simple episode. All the craziness that was in episode 7. And then they just hand us this episode where it's just simple. You just need to watch and have to overthink that much. So those are still good. I still give us an 8 out of 10. 9, maybe, I don't know. So far, it's an 8. It's better than Shogun World, I can tell you that. I enjoyed this episode way more than Shogun World.
So you're giving it basically an 8.5 out of 10?
Yep.
What about you, Andy?
And then I will go with, I can't do the same as him. So I'll go with an 8, I guess. Man, I'll go 9 then. 9. Because I just like the character so much. The build of this character, You know, they made it similar things happen to him and Dolores, but you got to see like the difference of how they process this information. And maybe it's due to the fact that he didn't have to get erased all the time. So he doesn't have that kind of resentment. But I just liked how you took these characters with very similar situations and they totally diverged on their paths and made him like a much more likable character. I like that he has more heart.
If the Man in Black is real, how the hell is he still alive with 15 shots and bleeding out and crawling out through the woods and across the river? I mean, how is this man still alive? If he's real, how is he still living?
I'll tell you that people can live with like much worse gunshot wounds than that.
But not for that long. I mean, sooner or later you bleed out and die.
Yeah, eventually, yeah, but it depends on where your shots are. Really, your shoulders are like the safest place for you to get shot. Like your shoulder region. The one in the leg could be bad, but that was like in his like front thigh area. If it would have been on the inside of his leg, that's much worse. It could hit like an artery. Then you have the gut shot, which gut shots are bad. They can potentially be bad, but gut shots are like you die slow. So he could still be dying, but it's going to be like a slow, painful death. But I've seen people who like survive for days after being shot without like real medical treatment.
So is he going to bleed out and then Emily's going to be like, oh, I don't want to lose you, daddy. And she's going to upload him into a host so she doesn't lose her daddy.
Oh man, that would be the torture.
Oh, I would have gave this episode a stone cold 3 if it wasn't for that Ford Acachetta scene. I was just that Simon terrible acting bullshit. It almost brought it down to a 2, but Ford saved it. We got a Ford sighting, so that instantly brings it up like at least a notch or 2. But yeah, I was just not a fan of this scene. This episode was not for me. I don't know what it was, but it just did not hit on any of the cylinders that I was looking for. But next week, we get some early day MIB and more about our girl Juliet. What questions are you looking to get answered next week, BBM?
Who the hell is Juliet? Oh yeah,
the Man in Black's right. What?
Wait.
This is our
How did you
You say Juliet?
How did you get on this panel?
Right? I'm like, who is this guy?
You say Juliet, and then my mind is picturing freaking Emily / Grace. I'm like, wait a minute, why am I picturing that in person when you're saying Juliet? Now it makes sense. The daughter of her. Gotcha now. But yeah, one, I didn't see the preview, so I'm still like mind blown what the hell is gonna happen next week. So I'm just hoping that Maeve is gonna get healed next week with the help of Sizemore, and maybe he's gonna get Sylvester because we haven't seen where the hell Sylvester is, but he kind of rode in with him. But Felix is still MIA because he went and go help Maeve with Hector and people. So let's see how that's gonna go.
I think it's going to be like, the previews kind of showed that it's going to be a Man in Black heavy episode. And it may be misleading, but I think it's going to trend towards that where like the Man in Black talking to his daughter, and they're going to have to hash out stuff. But I'm interested to find out like how his wife killed himself or herself. And because we have conflicting stories already. And then, I don't know, next week does look good. If maybe not for DJ, if you're not like, you don't have like the emotional attachment. But man, they know it's realistic in their like family stuff. The way I see it, like, man, your spouse is like the one person that knows like all the bad things about you. And they're bringing that to the forefront. I think that's pretty cool. Or that's what it looks like, at least.
Our man JD's got a balance. Work comes early tomorrow. We love you, brother. Thanks for being here. And we will talk to you soon. Be easy, JD.
Take it easy.
Well, my big prediction for next week is that we are finally going to get to see a motherfucking buffalo just stomp through the freaking mesa, and it's going to look awesome. And all of a sudden, he's going to mob right to the stairwell and just jump off, and it's going to be crazy. But yeah, I think we're finally going to get to see our buffalo stomp through the mesa. I've been waiting all year for that. I think that's going to look dope as shit.
You really think that's going to happen? I thought that was just for the damn commercial.
No way, dude. That's going to happen. All the buffalo are busting out. All of them are going to go nuts, just like all the hosts are free. The buffalo are going to be free, and it's going to be madness. That's going to look so sweet. What do you think? What's your prediction next week? What's going to happen, BBM?
I know. My prediction is getting a freaking Maeve out of there by next week. That's
you think Maeve lives? No way Maeve just dies?
Hell no, she ain't gonna freaking die.
Hell no, she ain't gonna. Maeve's gonna die. You heard it here first. Maeve dead next week. She gone. She gone. She'll make another appearance in the finale in a flashback, but she gone next week. She did. What's gonna happen next week, Andy?
I think next week that's where they're gonna start sowing the seeds more of the one, either the man in black or his daughter are a host, because they're gonna keep remembering. We're going back to memories, and they're gonna keep remembering things differently. Like, I think we're gonna get that, and it's gonna start just keep sowing the seeds that someone is off, and we don't know which one. So
you think we're gonna find out?
Man in Black's wife that was a freaking host, and that's why he's not remembering everything. He basically just reprogrammed the wife's story, and he's just getting the wrong story when he was recounting stuff with freaking Grace. That's what's gonna happen. He was a freaking host. The wife was the host.
The what?
Not the daughter.
Oh, okay, you're a host.
I'm telling you, the season 10 ending, the final scene is gonna either be the Man in Black or Emily/Gracie with a close-up on her ear, and it's going to be the white fluid leaking out of it. I'm telling you, that's how they end the season. Absolutely going down like that. Living My Rhapsody says this is why they kept these freaking glass panes intact when they were shooting. They need it for the buffalo. I agree 100%. I'm telling you, the buffalo are going to go freaking nuts next week. It's going to be awesome. The CGI is going to be incredible on that. I'm excited for it. But other than that, I think that's going to wrap it up, unless you guys have anything else to say about this absolutely fantastic episode that I give a freaking 4 to. My new low, my new least favorite. But it's Westworld. I'm like, hey, I'm not mad. It's over. I don't ever have to watch it again. That's fine. But until we do our recap of the rewatch, which we already got halfway going, but I don't know. It's all right. It's going to be back, but I have a feeling the next 2 episodes are going to be balls to the wall, out of freaking control. I think they're going to answer so many questions, give us so much more, and have us so hyped waiting for the next year. It's going to be a painful wait, a painful one. But only time will tell, and I'm excited. Next Sunday can't get here soon enough. But until then, I want to thank my host for being on here with me tonight. BBM, what you got going on for the rest of the week?
Man, if you guys want to go check out my reaction slash review of this said episode, head over to my channel. But for this week, I think I'm pretty much just going to be reacting to the originals. Like, I'm kind of like happy when there's like no shows to react to, because I'm freaking burning out at this point. I've been uploading too much lately. I just need a break. But that's why I kind of like these, streams. You just go in, talk what you want to talk, and you don't have to freaking edit. But again, thank you for having me, DJ. And nice talking to you, Andy. Agreeing to disagreeing with you, being on the fence. Can't wait till next week.
Absolutely. We look forward to it. And I thought I was going to be heading out to Vegas next week, but I got a few things going on around here that I can't leave yet. So I'm actually not going to be leaving until the end of the month. So I don't know if that's going to end up being on the finale. Hopefully it'll be the week after, but I'm leaving on the 28th. So how's that work out? But anyway, one way or the other, it looks like we will be able to get it in next week, so that'll be awesome. And also, I don't think I have anything scheduled for the rest of this week, so we'll definitely be doing another this week's review with the crew, and I got a couple after episode recaps and questions that I want to ask these guys and dive a little bit deeper into this show that we all love so much and been getting into. But other than that, what do you got going on for the rest of the week, Andy? I want to thank you for being here, and what you going to be doing?
My daughter's out for summer, so probably not playing Mario. I don't know. I've been playing a lot of Bloodborne. Maybe I'll stream it, but I'm kind of cheating in the game, and I don't want everybody to see how much I'm cheating in the game. So I could say it on your channel and not show it on mine, and I'll just go to mine and be like, I am really good at this game. No. But yeah, I just been grinding, like making my character overpowered. But so I probably won't be streaming much, but now that I said that, I always do the opposite of whatever I say I'm going to do on here. So take that into account. Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. Thanks to everybody in the chat. At the very least, I'll be here next week to talk about the next Westworld.
Absolutely. That's a guarantee. One thing you can definitely count on. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot actually going on for the rest of this week, so we will be able to get in another, for sure this week, we'll be able to get in another this week's review with the crew and dive a little bit deeper into the show and see what we can't figure out before the next 2 episodes absolutely reveal it. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to that, so you guys come on back. And other than that, we'll definitely be back next Monday. It'll be between 6 and 9 for once. Yep, okay. Anyway, yep, we'll definitely be back between 6 and 9 next Monday night. So I hope to see you guys all back here. Hope you guys have an absolutely amazing rest of the week. And until we see you next time, game on.